Hey, wake up! Wake up! Wakey, wakey, rise and shine! Of course I hacked into your comms. What, you messaged me saying you made a huge discovery, the one of the century, and then when I tried to contact you, radio silence. I mean, how was I to know that you weren't bleeding out somewhere while they stole all your big discoveries? Or, worse yet, they decided to go to the source of the, information and kidnap you. Well, since you're awake now, you can tell me what kind of climate I'm meant to be packing for. Exactly. Adventure awaits and all that. Canaan? What are we going to go find there? Alright. Keep your little secrets. It's fine. Won't pry. Alright. Most important thing. And what else? Some light reading for the plane. Alright. I think I'm about done here. I guess I'll meet you there then, secret keeper. Alright, over and out. Hello chickies, welcome to the Fully Booked Penguin channel. I am Hannah and today we are doing our first expedition for the Journey Through the Bible Readathon 2025. Now this readathon is created by Katie over at Paperbacks and Ponytails. She has the whole introduction video and everything up on her channel. I do recommend watching the one for last year as well as this year, just to clarify some of the points. And then for my video, you can check out my TBR video for all the books that are possible during this readathon. And yeah, so I am doing it a little bit differently from Katie and the rest of the team. I'm making it into a sort of a game. During this challenge, there are 5 different categories, and the first 3 you can take as many books, you can read as many books from that section as you want, but then the last 2 you're meant to choose only one because it's like an encounter and then how you get out of that encounter / trap. Now the way I'm doing it is I'm only choosing 1 book from each section, but then the last one is the only one that I actually choose the book. The first 4 sections I'm going to roll the die, and whatever number I land on corresponds with one of the prompts and therefore one of the books I chose in my TBR video. So the first prompt of this challenge is, where are you going? And I did roll it, and if you were paying attention during the intro, I did roll a 3 and therefore we are going to Canaan. Also, the sun came out right after I rolled that number and I was like, wow, it is truly the chosen one. And the prompt for Canaan was a book you promised to read last year. And so I chose Of Tides and Treason by Constance Lopez, which is the book 3 of the Caspian Chronicles series. It is a fantasy series, but they are also standalones. So you can just jump in and read each one. But similar to my books, it's best if you read them in order because there's stuff happening in the world and it kind of spoils the previous book. And in the bookish world, we call them sequential standalones. So they can be read just as is, but if you read the later ones before the first ones, you will be spoiled. Anyway, so I've read the first 2, really enjoyed them. What drew me to this series was actually the gorgeous covers. They are impeccable. And this follows one of the prince of the sort of enemy kingdoms, Rue, and then also a mage / animal friend. She has animal companions called Melly. And in this one, the prince is actually sent by his mother. I don't think we like to hunt down this mage. And so in order to heal the land, Melly does accept this offer. However, she didn't realise that he hates and kills and hunts down mages, so she is in for a bit of a shock. So I assume we're following them, and they are romances. And I I don't like Rue. I, in fact, dislike him entirely. I hate him from the previous book. So it will take a lot of work to win me over. I'm like, you locked up mages, you tortured people, like, I'm sorry, but you are evil. And I know it's his mother, but he made those decisions. He also followed in his mother's footsteps, you know, so we shall see. Anyway, so that is our first step. We are going to Canaan. So there's 268 pages. Typical read time is 5 hours, 21 minutes, supposedly. So we shall see. It will probably take me longer than that, but I love the cover there. I'll have it on screen. It's just, wow. Here we are, setting off for Canaan on our little expedition. First part of Tides and Treason. Let's go. So we have our first update, our first telling of the story. I am 20, well, I was going to do an update at 25%, but that was partway through a chapter. Turns out it was a long chapter. So we're at 28%. And we are up to chapter 11. First of all, I don't know whether to give spoilers. I don't think it's a spoiler because it's in the very first chapter. But there is something about Prince Rue, okay? In this world, they have these certain creatures that are tied and bonded with the royal family. So we had some sort of bird for the first girl, and then we have, I can't remember what it was for the other bloke. But yeah, each kingdom has this different animal. And Rue's country have these foxes, tied foxes. Anyway, so he's like, yeah, these tied foxes, like, they haven't been close with the royal family in years, like for ages. They've kind of avoiding the royal family. And in the very next sentence, pretty much, he's like, yeah, and my mother, in a fit of rage at one point, killed one. And I'm like, I think I have a clip of the whole reaction I was telling Mum. I'm like, maybe that's why. Maybe because the queen literally killed them. And then he goes on a little later to say that the soldiers have been dragging off tied foxes and, you know, pretty much hunting them and killing them. And he's like, yeah, that's just what happened. And meanwhile, his country is slowly dying. Plants aren't growing, there's like bad creatures appearing across the lands, and they've been wiping out mages because of a past incident that we just found out about. And I'm like, and so they wiped out all their mages, but then they've been capturing and putting the mages in prisons because they're like, these mages are the filth of the earth and they need to be wiped out. But at the same time, for some reason, our plants and everything are dying. So we need a mage to help us figure out what's going wrong here. And I'm like, you're killing off the very thing you need in order for your land not to die. Constance has done a good job at making Rue the most infuriating. Like, I despise this man. I do. And meanwhile, Melly is so sweet, and I adore her with every inch of my heart. And I just, since I am such a vengeful being in fiction land, real life, not. Fiction land, very vengeful. I don't see his way ever returning from this. Like, he has tortured mages. He thinks that all mages should die and be purged from the earth. And he says that, oh, these mages did this to us in the past, so therefore all of them have dark deeds and, like... And I'm like, but your own mother hunts down all these people and kills them off. As well as... And somehow it doesn't click in his brain that they are actually worse than the thing that was done to them. Not saying that the thing done to them was bad, but they are 1000% more bad than the mages. And I'm just, like, he is so bad. Anyway, Melly is over here with her creatures, and she's so sweet and so lovable. I just don't know where it can go that things get better. Because Melly is from a neighbouring kingdom, well, not the neighbouring one, but the next one over. And something happened in her past that she's run away from. And she said she wanted freedom, and she was like, I mean, just in nature, just in my little hut, but at least I'm happy and free. And now she's not. It sucks. I just want pure happiness for her. And unfortunately, it's not there. I'm flying through it, but at the same time, I hate this man with all of my heart. And he's so dumb. Like, he's a planner. He likes to come up with conniving plans and strategies. But at the same time, he can't seem to think that, the very thing I'm trying to wipe out may be the reason why my land is dying. An idiot. So, let's go with chapter 11. Checking in. We are now at the 52% mark. Melly is starting to have feelings for Rue. But I can't help feeling like it's more of a Stockholm Syndrome situation rather than actual believable feelings. Because he's protecting her from inside attacks, but at the same time, he still hates mages. He's still, like, I don't know, he's kind of back and forth. He says he doesn't like the camps they keep the mages in, but at the same time, when he was in charge of those camps, he didn't do anything to make it better. He let them live in their squalor and die, pretty much. And yet I didn't agree with that, but I was just doing it so that my mum wouldn't get angry. And it is very Stockholm feeling, and I'm not loving it because I don't believe it. So whenever she's talking about it, I'm like, oh, you don't know this lad, girl. And meanwhile, he's angry or like thinks that she's a so-and-so, but he wouldn't listen to her reasoning or her. So I'm like, but we're 50% through. Who knows what twists could happen? And the pets are liking Rue, and I'm like, please don't. I need someone on my side that also still dislikes Rue. Just at least one of the pets, please. But no one. They're all being won over. But to be fair, they're all locked inside a room or the garden and are developing Stockholm Syndrome and are getting fed. Really, it's the snacks. And I guess if somebody was feeding me snacks, I'd feel a little more, like, better towards them. But would I? I'd probably be still stubborn through that, though. Because I'd be like, yeah, so you're feeding me up for the slaughter. It's what I feel like you're doing to me. Now I have a sinking feeling something's about to happen. So we shall see what happens from here. I'll check in at the next 25% mark, whether that's today or tomorrow. I'll let you know. It happened. What I dread happened. I saw it coming. I was like, oh no. Oh no. And then it happened. And I was just chapter 21, I knew it. But I didn't want to believe it. And then it happened and I was like, yep. And here we are. I feel like I need to snuggle down and have a nap after that realization. Checking in again, because this man just blindsided her with this thing. And yet, her thoughts are like, he's so all these good things. And I'm like, he's so all these bad things. What are you talking about? Anyway, but so the Stockholm Syndrome is going strong. It's strong in her, and I just see all the warning bells going off in my head. And, like, he didn't have to blindside her. But he did. And so, I just hope he suffers. I'm sorry. If this is going to be redeemed in any way, this man has to suffer. suffer. I'm so sorry. I sound like such a cruel person, especially when it's reading through the Bible. Hannah, do you need to rethink some things? Do I need to? Okay. I don't know. I feel like mine is a righteous anger. Let's just continue reading. I feel like I've revealed a part of myself through this book, and it's no longer hidden. It's for the world to see now. But I think it's right, you know? I'm thinking of the innocence, and God does like to protect innocence. And I feel that in this case, the annoyance is valid. Maybe I shouldn't wish suffering upon someone, and I guess that's true. I want to see this man repent. And repentance in like a full-hearted way. That's what I want to see. I want to see him come to repentance. That's a nicer way of putting it. Okay, let's go with that. Come on, Rue. Repent. Please. Okay, we are 75% through. Another update. Still the same day. We'll see if I finish it today or not. Oh, by the way, I'm shaky. Questionable angle, but we'll go with it. So I am at the 75% mark. And things are improving. I did take a moment to just take a break and calm myself from my, previous rant. There's not much to say that isn't spoilery. So things are improving. Not to my satisfaction, but comparatively. I'm not sure how the last 25% is going to play out, though. There seems to be a lot of loose ends that I'm not sure, but she hasn't said there's another book coming. I guess we'll wait and see if it ends in a way that indicates another book coming or not. But yeah, a lot of loose ends still flying around, so we'll see. We'll see. I'll probably just check in tomorrow, even if I finish it tonight. I'll let you know. For now. I'll be back. I'll be back. We are the new morning, and I have finished Of Tides and Treason by Constance Lopez. So here are my thoughts. I ended up liking it. I don't think I can say I like Rue, but I also am not against Rue. I like Melly, but at the same time, I do feel like I didn't quite understand her attraction to Rue at times. And then I didn't know quite how to rate it because I enjoy the writing and I enjoy the overarching plot, like what they are solving, but the relationship in it, which is really what drives the story, I don't know, it didn't quite connect for me, but I still read it in one day. So it's not like I disliked it or had trouble reading it. It was just, I didn't see eye to eye with the characters. And I hated Rue for like 70 or 80% of the book. And it's just a strange feeling to hate the main character, or one of. So I think in the end I'm giving it roughly like a 3.5. Yeah, I don't know, it's a weird one to try and rate. Because I enjoyed myself. But also I was ranting and I was like, how can I hate this character so much? And not understand the romance in it. But that does bring us to our next role. Alright, so our next section is What Are You Hunting For? And so we have Pharaoh's Tomb, Rod of Moses, Temple of Jerusalem, Ark of the Covenant, Dead Sea Scrolls, King Solomon's Treasure, and Precious Rubies. So we're going to roll the dice now and see what we get. Alright, I have my D8 here. Oh, so the 8 is a little bit bung. Don't ask me how that happened. 4. Guess who? How was your flight? Oh, You ordered for me? Thanks. Yeah, it was a bit rough there for a little bit, but nice supplier. So, Secret Keeper, what do you have me in search of? Of course I've heard of him. Taken off by the Babylonians? Or disappeared then, anyway. You know we'll have to handle this carefully, right? Anyone else sniffing around there recently? You set up a contact. You know how I feel about working with others. I mean, you're not great with working with others either. Alright. I'll go to the location then and meet the contact. But please, keep me in the loop better next time. Yeah, I'll go. Just let me finish my tea first. Demands. You're lucky I like adventure. Alright, so prompt number 4 was Ark of the Covenant, which is favourite genre. And I chose fantasy isekai as my favourite genre. And so that is Out of Count's Family, volume number 3, or novel number 3. I've been wanting to read this one for so long, so there we go, that's our next read. So I shall check in a little bit later to tell you what Out of Count's Family is about. For now, I actually have to go study the actual Bible at a Bible study, so I don't have time to tell you all the intricate details of Out of Count's Family, but there's our next choice. Car vlog time. So, Out of Count's Family by Yu Rohan. Out of Count's Family follows a real-world person who finds themselves in a novel series they were reading as a sort of side villain who challenges the main character and ends up getting beat up by the main character of the series, and that is Cale Hennetis, who is known to be a bit of a lout. Obviously, he's a bit drunk, he gambles, he does whatever pleases himself. However, when the bloke finds himself as Cale, he knows the future. He knows there'll be a war and pain and suffering, and he's like, you know what, I don't want that. I want to live my rich life in peace. So he starts collecting these things that raise his defense, like they protect him. And also, he keeps collecting these allies, even though he's like, I don't need allies, I just need people that will protect me for now. But I keep having these people that I protect and help, and then I'm responsible for them. So I have to set them up properly. And so in his head, he is a very selfish character, but all his actions come off as selfless and really protective. And so all these other allies love and adore him, and he saved a dragon called Readathon. That's the dragon there. And it's so funny and it's so cute. And so we're up to novel number 3. So supposedly they're going to traverse the treacherous desert in search of dark elms, and then he has a respite at a festival back home before he sets out again, as you do. We're also nearing the end of what he knows, and so the future is unclear from what our character recalls from the novels, because he only read up to like novel number, I don't know whether it was 3 or 5 or something. So there is a certain part of the book he just has no clue what it's about. But yeah, it's good fun. So I'm going to sit here and in the car, as you do, and do some reading. We have our first update for Out of Count's Family. So we are like 31% through. The chapters in this are rather long, but they go really quickly. They have little breaks ever so often, so you really don't feel like it's long chapters. It just feels like a section with very, very short chapters, in fact. I will say they very quickly go through events in this. Like, you're doing one thing, you figure it out, you do that, now on to the next. And so our lad has helped his dragon, Readathon, take revenge He's also gone back home. No, he's gone to the capital to meet with the prince and to confront him about something and to set up some stuff. Then he's gone back home for what he thought was going to be a year's rest. Found out that his assassin, Ron, needed help, so off they had to go find something to help him. And so they've just gotten home again after doing that whole process. Because there's I think they call themselves and they are like terrorists in this world. So we've been dealing with them, and Kale just wants to rest now. He's like, finally, go back home, have a year's rest. Is he going to get the year's rest? Probably not. I don't think it's going to be a high chance of him actually getting that done, but you can hope. I have 240 pages left to go, and I'm just having fun. It's just the kind of story where you just relax and watch them win. I really love stories where you just pretty much watch them win constantly. There are bad guys that seem to be rather powerful and they are on the loose, but at the same time, you know that Kale will come out on top. He does have, after all, a dragon on his side. But the thing with the group is they all just think that Kale is the weakest link of them all, because he's just a puny little human, and and so whenever Kale is like, it's alright, I'll put myself in harm's way, even though he's not really. He's got all these protective measures. Everyone around him is like, no, you won't. You won't put yourself anywhere near harm. We will protect you. You stay away. And it's just so funny. So I do have an appointment tomorrow, but I think I'll just read this as well tomorrow. I've got to film something. I should probably edit a video that I have too. So I've got a bit on, but I mean, I fly through it. So I think I'm going to set it aside for today. I mean, it is only the second, and I'm on to my second book. So really, I'm doing great for the little challenge. But I just want to fly through. Otherwise, I don't have much else to say. So I'll check in tomorrow if I get any reading done. I don't know why I keep telling you I'll check in tomorrow, because it's literally in 5 seconds. I'll check in. So give me half a second and I'll be with you again. Alright, I am 59% through Out of Count's family. We've kind of just been setting up with just little different events. Kayla's been trying to rest, really. He's like, I need to rest for a year and then I can go back and hunt down the final, I think it's the final ancient power. Things keep popping up, like the prince keeps wanting help, and Ron got in trouble and different things. So we've also had one run in person with Kale with and then we have had like an off-screen run-in with them again, and a lot of talking with the prince and a lot of picking up new little allies that aren't big allies, but they're going to help with some of the plotting that Kale has. And then we, at the very end of chapter 23, Kale finally had like 2 seasons of rest. So he slept through winter and into spring, and then they're like, you're not a bear, stop hibernating. And he's like, oh, I suppose it's time to move again, to go in search of the 10 Finger Mountains. It's such a quick read, and I find it so easy to remember each and every character. Every character is so easy to follow and remember. I think it helps that they're also different positions and different sort of races as well. You've got the cats, you've got the dragon, you've got the wolf kids, you've got an assassin, you've got you've got all manner of different ones there. So I don't think it will take me too long to read the final 142 pages. It's also a lovely sunny day, but I also want to do some writing today. But I might just continue reading for the sprints with the Paperback and Ponytails channel this Saturday. Friday for them, Saturday for me. I'm also going to watch How to Train Your Dragon live action movie with Mum, because I bought her the DVD or the Blu-ray. And so we're going to watch that this afternoon as well. So I have a bit of stuff planned, but I also need to get my chapter for the week done, so we'll see. I absolutely love and adore Raon's care for Kale. I mean, he calls Kale a weak human, but he's like, if Kale dies, I will destroy this planet. I just love it when the super powerful thing is like, this human is mine. The thing with Kale is he's so oblivious to the attachment of others. So in this book he gets hurt quite badly when he's not going to die or anything, but you know, the others around him may have thought he was going to die. And so they really hate now. But he doesn't really realise, and so he's making these deals, and whenever is mentioned, all of his group gets so incredibly angry. And so he bled out, and he was very, very hungry when he, you know, collapsed. But they're talking about and Ron, the assassin. He's like, I need to make sure they're bleeding and they're starving hungry. And Kayla, of course, is like, oh my goodness, why are you so cruel? Like, I have coughed up blood and felt like I was starving, and it was not great. Like, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. He just doesn't get that they want to do that because did that to Kale. And I just love this little group. This little bunch of found family are impeccable and so funny, but at the same time Kale is so oblivious because he sees himself as the most selfish, arrogant so-and-so. And everyone's like in love with him, so it's adorable. I've completed novel number 3 of Out of Khan's Family by Readathon. So good. I just want to jump right into the next one. We've sort of left on a cliffhanger. It goes through so much. Like, this book contains so many different plot points, but it's all just so fun to read about. And as I say, it's funny in bits, it's amusing, it's not too stressful, which I love. I love when the main character doesn't have to stress too much. They're just going through winning at life, and I actually love that. You know, there's meant to be this big rule that, you know, your main characters are meant to be constantly in conflict and struggling. And I'm like, well, what if they aren't? What if they aren't? Because they have a dragon on their side, as well as other, you know, allies. What then? And I love it so much. Our Ark of the Covenant book completed. And now we get to go on to the next part of our thing. Now it's time to go hunt down who we're going to meet along the way. Alright, so we ended up rolling a 4 for who we're going to meet. And that means we were meeting up with Tomb Raiders, or like encountered them. It says meet them, so are we friends with the Tomb Raiders? I'm not sure. The prompt was steal a book from a TBR. Now in my TBR video, I did choose A Fragile Enchantment by, I got it, I had it before. No, it's gone. But currently, I haven't gone to pick up the book yet. I will pick it up tomorrow. But I looked it up. Now, despite my own opinion that young adult should have no spice in it, I did look it up, and it seems it might. So, the Journey Through the Bible challenge is obviously clean or no spice reads. So I was like, if it does, then that's technically not a win on the board. Okay, due to the nature of the readathon, I am going to actually do Persuasion instead of A Fragile Enchantment, and I will be reading A Fragile Enchantment just in a separate video. So I'll still reading vlog, still give you all the details, and I'll let you know if there is any spice in it. So I will read and review that one as well, since I have it. You can't trust young adult tags anymore, so there you have it. I went back to Aya's Cottage's videos, and I went to a video like a year ago, another spring TBR video, and I chose Persuasion by Jane Austen. I recently got this book in, and I thought, well, it fits the prompt, and I'm assured that there is no spies. I received this book in the mail. I ordered it, so of course I received it, and I've been wanting to read the Jane Austens again, so this will be our second one. So what is Persuasion about? Well, Persuasion follows Anne, who is the second youngest daughter of a family that think very highly of themselves. She does not. She is sweet and kind and kind of reserved. She is now 27 years old, so she's considered getting on in her years. When Anne was 19, she did receive a proposal, but the family and a family friend convinced her against it because he had no fortune. He only had his plans for the future, which were enough for Anne, but enough people are telling her to be prudent about it, and she thought, well, I might not be best for him either, and it was only that thought that she refused him on. But however, he did not take it well, which is, I guess, fine, but he did think she had led him on. So this follows years later, obviously, and they come in contact again. So yeah, it's a little romance, but I think it's as much, an observation of all these different societal characters as well as our main character, romance. I may have started this yesterday, so I'm just going to give you the update. I am almost 50% through. I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm 25% through and then I'm 50% through, because I read half last night. Lying is wrong. So let's talk about Persuasion so far. So far, I feel sorry for Anne because she is so sweet. She helps out with the kids of her younger sister. She's trying to get her father to, cut down on expenditure, and yet he's so proud and he doesn't want to give anything away because he is a gentleman, even though he's a broke gentleman. She's just lovable. And then we do meet Captain Wentworth, who has come into a fortune. And I don't love him. I get that he was, saddened in love, but at the same time, this bloke needs to calm his little farm. He holds a grudge. And Anne is just like, well, okay, thanks, mate, for making all these comments. They're comments in regards to her, but without mentioning her. But they definitely have to do with what he assumes about her, because she did turn him down. Obviously, she's not those things, but she also isn't going to say anything because he's not saying any of them to her. She can't defend herself against something that he's not openly, speaking to her about, because if she responded, everyone would be like, why are you responding to that? And everyone would know. So it's a questionable situation for sure, but something just happened, a little event. Wentworth is also, I don't think he's really interested in these two girls, but he is happy for their attentions to be on him, which is a little bit, I don't know. They're willingly giving him their affections, but at the same time, he could be less encouraging of that. If he was truly interested in them, he could, do so, but I don't think he is. And Anne doesn't think he is either. But yeah, the family is a little all over the place. There's little things going on that might lead to something. Anne is lovable. Wentworth, I'm not sure about. And then all the others are just too. They're a cast. They're a cast for sure. So now we're into the second half, which we shall see what happens there, because there might be a bit of a fallout due to an event. Also, this is a huge vlog. I edited the first, 2 parts, and I was like, wow, am I making people watch a movie? Yes. Welcome to the movie. Welcome to the journey. I did say it was an expedition, and expeditions are long. Will the length of this video put some people off? Yes. And I'm here to have fun with the skits and the reading. So, let's get to reading then. I am 70, you can still probably hear them all outside, I apologise. I'm 76% into Persuasion. It's fun. I love that Anne is such an observer. She seems to be on top of everything and how everything's going on, and I love that for her. She is also aware of Wentworth. Wentworth seems to not be on top of everything, and Wentworth is jumping to some conclusions and hurting himself in the process, and continuing with actions that aren't really helping him. They aren't helping his case. And meanwhile, our girl is on top of it. She understands what he's doing wrong, but it's not like she can point it out. You know, she's got to sustain her own propriety, but at the same time, she's like, I know what's going on here, but how the heck am I meant to fix this or make it clearer to you? It's fun. So we have, 24% left, which is, give me a second, 54 pages left. A lot's got to go down in the next 54 pages, but I'm intrigued to find out how it all comes to an end and why people seem to like Wentworth so much. I have completed Persuasion by Jane Austen. I had a very lovely time. It all wrapped up nicely. I think because Jane Austen, she never writes where the women aren't on scene. Sometimes she alludes to some of the thoughts they may have had when they were by themselves, but most of the time she doesn't reveal that, because I believe Jane said that because she herself was just a woman, she couldn't understand what men do in private. You can imagine the character and like the moments of the male characters, but it's not explicitly in a scene per se. So it's very sweet and not super in depth, but I think I can enjoy and appreciate it. Also, I apologize for the sound. But I do overall really enjoy Jane Austen's books, and Persuasion was no different. I think there is romance and there is love, even though they're not super detailed. So some people might be like, oh, it's just meh. But I love it. I like the nuanced relationships in it, and even the ridiculous families. But there you go. We have the wrap on our Tomb Raiders. Tomb Raiders complete. Okay, so we have fallen into a trapdoor. Oh no. It just happens sometimes. So the prompt is friend chooses, and the most fitting choice is for the trapdoor, and that is Twisted Wonderland, the manga. Book of Hearts Labule. This is the first volume. My friend did in fact choose it, and she did in fact lend it to me as well. What is it about? We'll learn together. So, stranded in the world of Twisted Wonderland, you must brave a magical school filled with ghosts, monsters, and uncooperative students. You is whisked away to Night Raven Cottage. Not cottage, that's college. An arcane academy in the world of Twisted Wonderland. Stranded until he can find a way home, you is allowed to stay on campus despite having no magic of his own. Well, that is a tough start. But when his new friends land him in trouble with the head mage, his future at the school looks bleak. Now Yu's fate hinges on bringing together a pair of argumentative first years and a fire-breathing monster cat. Well, isn't that unfortunate? So there are, wait for it, 182 pages. Should be a quick enough read. So we are falling very quickly in this trap. It won't take me long to hit the bottom. And then we have to choose how to escape it. But for now, we are just falling to our doom through the trapdoor.
Hello. We're having a bed day. I might go out onto the veranda to get some sun a little later, but I had a big day yesterday. I went to the library and met up with a friend, and it was all wonderful, lovely, but being chronically ill, you have to rest afterwards. As much as I would love to just continue on with life like every other normal person on earth, I did pick up some books yesterday. So, well, there's some over there that I'm not going to bring over. We'll prescribe you another cat, which I've chosen for one of the prompts, but we haven't rolled it, so you haven't seen that. But then also she lended me, yes, Twisted Wonderland, and I picked up, which I'm going to consider as my library recommended if I roll it, but nobody recommended it. I just saw it on the shelf. That is A Girl's Guide to the Outback, which is an Australian Christian fiction romance. But it starts out in Virginia, US, so I thought I'd give it a try if I roll for the library. So we're going to start Twisted Wonderland. It should be a rather quick read. I don't think I really need to check in, but if I have any thoughts, I will. But this will be a very short update because it is a manga. So I'll probably update in like half a second.
I'm halfway through, and currently our main character, who is a judo student, he was getting ready for a tournament, but he ended up run over by a carriage and entering into this world, and immediately he's like in an academy, and it's a magical academy, and he's like, I don't have any magic, and they are shocked, bewildered. And so some stuff happened. We met the underling of the Queen of Hearts, who is a little so-and-so, and he's happily gone to try and find a way home because supposedly he doesn't belong anywhere, according to the mirror. I don't trust the mirror for all it's worth, but... And now he's the janitor, and so he's cleaning up these statues, and he's like, who the heck is the Queen of Hearts? And that's where we're up to. So there you go, that's my little update on what's happening. And that's all I can say. I've completed the first volume of Twisted Wonderland. Thoughts. Prayers. My first thoughts are, I like the main character. He seems cool. Down to earth. Second point. I feel like I dislike the warden. He's just... him? He's just annoying. Supposedly he becomes a tyrant, and I'm like, he already is. But I guess it's to be expected in a world where they revere the villains of the Disney world. They did find the Seven Dwarfs house near the mines. So we'll see what happens with the return of the good guys, whether that happens or not. I'm not sure. This little dude, so annoying. My goodness. But the main character, smart, nice. I want him to be like off with your head to the main character and see absolutely nothing happen because our bloke doesn't have magic. And his off with your heads, it cuts off their magic flow. And I'm like, that wouldn't work because our dude is just a strong being on his own. He's just his kendo. So, you know. It was amusing for our first volume, and as I say, it's just an introduction. And a bit has happened. I like the look of the characters, but none of them have really won me over. The main character is pretty cool though. He's just an ordinary dude though. So that wraps up our falling into the trap. It's very fitting because he falls into pretty much a trap world, it seems like. Because he's trapped then. So now, we have to figure out what we're going to choose to escape. Alright, we have come to the part of the video where we must escape from the trap we have found ourselves fallen into, i.e. the trapdoor. Now, here's the thing. We either can use a knife, use another trapdoor, use clothing, or a rope ladder. I feel like knife, not going to be much help to us. So, we're going to strike knife off the option for this trapdoor. Now, as much as I'm amused by the thought that maybe through a trapdoor we can escape the trapdoor, I'm not sure whether she'll choose that option, you know? Which leaves us with clothing or a rope ladder. Here's the thing, I'm not sure what the clothing means. Like, I don't see myself traveling through this place, falling into a trapdoor, and I have my bag of clothes on me. You know, it would take quite a few clothes to get out of a trapdoor trap. So therefore a rope ladder would be next on the list. But like, what if it's a trapdoor where it's just like, lets you in, closes back up? Then you're just in a box. How do you escape from a box? So then I'm like, maybe it is the trapdoor to escape from the trapdoor. There's not enough details on what kind of trapdoor I have fallen into. Like, if I could just have some information. But I'm just in the dark. That's what I see myself at. I am in the dark. I don't know how to get out. if I have my pack, I probably have candles. So I'd probably light a candle and then I would be looking around, what kind of trap is it? Because, pull the lever cronk, she falls down and it's into like a water pit. So if I fell into a water, but like there's a water pit is a different trap. So then I would need a change of clothes in order not to freeze. Let's just come up with the reverse. So what traps are there? There's the net trap, which I feel has to be the knife. Then we have the rolling boulder, which I like to think is the trapdoor. So you know where a trapdoor is in the place the boulder's coming, and so you're just like, wick, folder into the trapdoor. I don't know, I don't think I'd be wanting to climb a rope ladder to get away from a boulder that's about to bowl me over, But then clothing to get away from that doesn't make sense. And I've already used knife. So, therefore, it has to be trapdoor for the boulder. So I'm going to go with the one option I have left after I've assigned it to the other ones, which is rope ladder, to get out of the trapdoor. So maybe there's another little entrance off to the side. So once I light my thing, I can see where the rope ladder is. But why would you make a trapdoor lead to something that doesn't, injure the person? Unless the aim isn't to injure, it's just to siphon them into a different avenue. I don't know. Am I overthinking this? Maybe. I would really love it to be a trapdoor from the trapdoor. And if it is that, that's hilarious. And I should have gone with that. Yeah, but I feel like trapdoor has to be for the rolling boulder, because otherwise, how else are you going to defeat a rolling boulder? Because there's no way I'm like maneuvering a rope ladder while like you would just get squashed if like you try to climb. Have you ever tried to climb a rope ladder? That is like wibbly wobbly. You take a moment, and it doesn't say it's like a swinging rope. It's just a ladder from the sky. So in the end, I think we're going to go with rope ladder to escape. And if that's incorrect, well, I guess we're stuck here. Alright, so fortunately for us, how do you escape? We're choosing the rope ladder, and that is the highest rated on TBR, which is Villains Are Destined to Die Volume 4. And this is by Suol, but the original story is by Gwon Gyo-ul. So we are following Penelope, who enters into a gaming world where it's the hardest difficulty. The normal route, you play as the true daughter of this family, and she woos whatever target she has because it's an autonomy game. And in this one, in the hard route, you are playing as the villainess, and it's nigh impossible to not die. She dies at every single corner, so when she enters it, she's like, oh, well, I don't want to die. So, but it's a tough life trying not to die, because literally everyone hates her for no apparent reason. So she's considered the fake daughter, and so she has her two brothers, she has a mage that she knows, and then there's also the crown prince, and he's a bit of a bloodthirsty little lad. But it's fair, because he's under a lot of pressure. He has a lot of assassins and stuff after him, so to be fair, he's only giving what he is dealt. But this is volume 4, so in this one, I believe we're at a hunt. So she's finally going to take part in this hunt and maybe have a run-in with the Crown Prince again. There he is there. There might be some assassins after them, is what I'm trying to say. So there you go. That's the next stop. The final step of our expedition. There are 3 acts in this, parts, so I'll check in after each part. Let's go. I've completed the first little third of it, and my girl can't catch a break. Everyone is against her. I mean, she's winning over at some points with the family, but then the Crown Prince stepped in and took a gift, and so her favorability went down with the family. And meanwhile, all the noble ladies are picking on her. And They're just cruel. And honestly, I just don't know why the world hates Penelope so much. And it's tough to watch. She is rather tough. She competes with them. She faces them off, but I think her actions, which are fair and absolutely called for, don't exactly put her in the good books with the family. If the family were on Penelope's side already and would defend and trust her, all would be good, but they just don't. So we're at the hunt. She's done this little tea party, which was a setup, and she's going off to hunt now. It is a little bit anxiety inducing though. I've got through the next bit, and it was so cute. Penelope and the Crown Prince out here, dealing with assassins, getting closer, raising affection, and then we had to go back to the brother. The father, he has his faults, for sure. But it's Derek. Derek is so annoying, and he's so against his sister. If it turns out that Penelope is their real daughter, I hope he regrets it. He is so trash. He's such trash. And yet he blames Penelope for everything. It's Penelope's fault for not coming to them and reporting stuff. And I'm like, when she did come to you, you wouldn't listen. You wouldn't believe her. Why would she come to people that don't believe her? Anyway, so we're up to the next part, and I don't think it's going to end well, because Penelope's just been framed. So she has to get caught first, because she's still with the Crown Prince, hiding away, and unfortunately, I think the Crown Prince has been poisoned. If what has been said is true, I think he won't be there to defend her with the truth. So that sucks. But anyway, we've only got this little bit left to go, and then I'll see whether I manage to escape or not. I have finished Villains Are Destined to Die, and Callisto, the prince. You know how some people, for some reason, hate blonde-haired male leads? I don't get it. I love myself a blonde-haired male lead, and Callisto. He's one of the best. Unfortunately, Derek, the brother, the older brother, is in hot water now, and honestly, he should go jump in a lake, to be fair, because he's not listening to a single word our Penelope is trying to say. And so she's hardened her heart, as she should, and now he'll just have to pay the consequences of not listening. She'll have to stand on her own. Again, poor thing. So I gave it a 4.5, just because some of the characters be annoying. Nothing goes right for our girl, but Callisto is great. So now, for a drum roll, have we escaped? Hello, Secret Keeper. By the time you're seeing this, I'll be jetting on home, but while we may not have found the Ark of the Covenant, and I may have received a few scratches and bruises along the way, there's always another adventure on the horizon. And, as it says in Proverbs chapter 15, verse 16, better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure with trouble. I'll see you for our next one. Call me. So thus ends our first expedition for Journey Through the Bible Readathon by Katie over at Paperbacks and Ponytails. I had so much fun with this little vlog, and I hope you join me for my next expedition, wherever we're going, whatever we're searching for, whoever we meet, and whatever trap we find ourselves in. It will all be in my next expedition vlog, so stay tuned for that. Until next time, peace!
T26